So let's bring in Hosuk Lee-Makiyama, the director of European Centre for International Political Economy and something of a veteran observer when it comes to international trade. Hosuk, you've seen all this kind of stuff before at this sort of level. How do complex trade negotiations, trade discussions like these normally go?
Thanks, Jamie. Actually, these conversations are far less complex than what many people may think. European Commission is actually more of a proxy or an agent over a very divided group of countries who have a very different stance on China, but also on electrical vehicles. Many of them are manufacturers. Many of them have foreign and domestic investment into the automotive sector. And others have absolutely no interest in that industry aside from having a lot of consumers. So the Commission's job in this position is just extract as many concessions as possible from their counterparts until the masters in Paris and Berlin tell them to stop and a deal has been reached and enough is on the table.
Are you saying there really is no unified position within the EU when it comes to tariffs on China's electric vehicle imports?
Indeed. Basically, we are, split even. We have about 7-8 countries around France, Netherlands, and Poland and Belgium who is absolutely in favor of these tariffs. And then you have on the other side, which is basically Germany, Spain, and potentially also Sweden and Slovakia, and a couple of other Mediterranean countries who are against. So basically, we are looking at 8-9 versus 8-9. And in the between, you will have around 10 countries that are either going to abstain or just going to be indecisive until they get a call from their European neighbors telling them they have to vote in either direction. So it's not just about a relationship with China. It's also a question about whether you stand closer to France or Germany.
Let's just turn these high-level talks on their head and try and explore this from the perspective of a car buyer, a European consumer. How are these tariffs likely to affect you?
Are you talking about me, Jamie? I'm in the market actually for a new car. But essentially, what we will see is that you will see a huge price adjustment coming across the entire market initially. So that basically, that means that, let's put it bluntly, most of the EVs have some part of the supply chain in China, either through the battery technology or the final assembly that takes place in China. Also, we need to remember that it's not just about Chinese state-owned enterprises and Chinese, new market entrants. It's also a question about Tesla. The market is actually dominated by Tesla still, in addition to the European manufacturers that are also assembling in China. So we will see a price hike initially. But what is most likely to happen is that the individual firms can actually seek concessions with the European Commission by basically promising to invest in one of the major member states and build factories and thereby negotiate down their tariffs by making different kind of market concessions. And so in the long term, it may actually not matter that much. And we should also remember that the indigenous Chinese manufacturers, like BYD, who are really successful, they're really interested in investing in Europe.
Hosuk, good to see you. Thank you for that. Hosuk Lee-Makiyama, Director of the European Centre for International Political Economy.